14 years. Almost feels like an eternity, doesn't it? The Incredibles is commonly cited by many as their definitive favorite Disney-Pixar film of all time. I won't go so far as to say that it's my definitive all-time favorite, but it is in my top 5. Not trying to sound cliched by saying this, but the film was ahead of its time upon its release. It carried many familiar qualities of the superhero genre and introduced a handful of qualities that were new or otherwise unprecedented in the genre. The excellent action and comedy accommodated for viewers of any and all ages, while the deconstructive commentary accommodated for those who were tired of the formulaic approaches of other superhero offerings of that generation. This effectively proves that yes, you can appeal to more than one demographic at a time without jeopardizing the integrity of your work. The immense financial and critical success of The Incredibles means that the pressure is on for a potential sequel to be of superior or at least similar quality. Because of this, a sequel to The Incredibles has long remained a myth that director-writer Brad Bird would occasionally acknowledge, albeit ambiguously. He's well aware of the demand for a sequel, but wanted to make absolute sure that it would meet or even exceed expectations. Now the wait is finally over, and Incredibles 2 is officially in cinemas. I would like to applaud Brad Bird for really taking his time with this movie, even if it did take a decade and a half. Anyone of such artistic integrity and passion, anyone who wants to put nothing but their best foot forward with their creations, will always have my approval. And as far as Incredibles 2 goes, it is worth the 14-year wait. Continuing on from its predecessor, the movie once again follows the Parr family, headed by Bob aka Mr. Incredible, and Helen aka Elastigirl, in their attempt to live amongst a society that has largely rejected superheroes. Their lives appear to change for the better, as Bob and Helen are approached by Winston Dever, an enthusiast and advocate for supers, and his laid-back, carefree but intelligent sister Evelyn. In a bid to reshape the public image of superheroes and legalize them once again, Winston enlists the husband and wife pair to undertake superhero duties on a regular basis with the intent of attracting as much public and media attention as possible. Except they don't. As in, they enlist only Elastigirl, not Mr. Incredible. Why? Because Elastigirl hasn't tarnished her public image due to collateral damage, while Mr. Incredible is the one who sparked the discourse and eventual ostracism of superhero work to begin with, due to collateral damage. So, right there, Incredibles 2 has a lot going for it, and it definitely delivers. I had a hell of a time watching this movie, and chances are that I'm gonna see it again a few more times before its theatrical run is over. And yeah, I've also seen it with my family. Suck it, internet. Put your short-sighted nostalgia goggles in a pipe and smoke 'em! Going around saying kids can't see a family movie. What a load. As is the standard for Disney-Pixar films, Incredibles 2 gives us some incredible visuals. It retains the stylized art of the first film, itself already gorgeous, but the advancements in technology have done this film wonders. The intricate detail, the smooth and crisp motions, and the inventive design of a handful of characters are quite the spectacle and show how far Pixar has come as a studio. Conceptually, the film builds upon the foundation of the first film substantially. The discourse of superhero work and its legality and ramifications are constantly acknowledged across the film, mostly through the interactions between the characters, and it isn't patronizing about it either. It doesn't outright tell you that superheroes are exclusively good or exclusively bad. Both sides of the debate are dwelt on equally, and it urges the audience to examine the issue for themselves and allows them to draw their own conclusions. And the discourse is integrated smoothly into the narrative that the characters still talk to each other about the topics at hand without sounding stilted or unnatural. The family-centric fare that the film employs is competent at best and harmless at worst. I think making Bob a stay-at-home dad for much of the story was a perfectly fine decision, and maybe even just a little bit better than with Helen in the first movie. The reason I say this is that Helen's character is naturally accustomed to life at home, while Bob is not, which lends itself to much more comedic moments and resoundingly heartwarming ones when the conflicts reach their resolutions. In particular, the scenes between him and Jack are so adorable and rib-crushingly funny. And like with the more mature content, the more base comedic moments happen within reason and context, and they never feel inappropriate or mistimed. And the part that most of you came to the movie for. Come on, don't deny it. The superhero stuff. Freaking fantastic. The action sequences are a joy to watch. They're breathtaking, impressively animated, fast-paced, and well choreographed. Plus, they put the characters' respective defining traits to impeccable use, each one getting a chance to shine the way they were meant to. Incredibles 2 is all well and good and a worthy follow-up to the 2004 animated classic, but it is not without faults. The family aspects are still overdone and cookie-cutter. I appreciate the team for making them fit with the context of a family of superheroes to keep them just fresh enough, but it remains a familiar setup that isn't taken to its fullest, resulting in subplots that don't carry much weight in the overall narrative, particularly Violet's love life. Yeah, it can be funny, and there's one specific scene that, while juvenile, got me guffawing like a hyena, but there was no kick to it by the time it was resolved, despite the film beginning with this subplot. Worse still is the very weak setup for the antagonist of the film. As soon as the plot goes in motion, you just know who the bad guy is, if not have a strong suspicion as to who the bad guy is. What is it with Disney and their attachment to the old switcheroo? Are they actively hardwiring their characters to be as untrustworthy as they can be? By this point, this device has been so overused in Disney animated films. We've seen it in Wreck-It Ralph, we've seen it in Frozen, we've seen it in Zootopia, which is actually the biggest offender of this because its villainous setup was non-existent and the revelation literally came out of the blue. There are no surprises to be had anymore, not when you fetishistically shoehorn the blasted thing in every other work. In some form of consolation or another, the villain of Incredibles 2 is the best and worst use of this convention in a Disney animated film. And even then, this is a Disney-Pixar film we're looking at here. We get a deep enough look into the villain's character that the reveal that they are the villain isn't as shallow as in the aforementioned films, and thus we can legitimately sympathize with their disillusionment. But nevertheless, I'm getting tired of this trope, this setup, being so battered to death, and I'm even more saddened that it seeped from the Disney animated canon and penetrated the Disney-Pixar lineup. Can it be fixed? Yeah, it can. Will it be fixed? Can't say I can hold my breath. Incredibles 2 is a sequel that more than delivers on its promise to be on the same level as its predecessor, and rightfully so given the decade-and-a-half long wait that fans the world over have endured. Despite its overwhelming familiarity, it escalates the charm of the first film to a far higher degree, giving us a thrilling, fun-filled, and thought-provoking ride that'll indulge the whole family. However, said familiarity still needs to be accounted for. While I give the movie a lot of props, I can't give it all the props as it still does venture into old territory. And the weak setup for a villain is an irritating trait of the Disney animated canon that does not need to sneak elsewhere in Disney's catalog. 4 out of 5. Believe it or not, I'm one of those people who think that the second film is of the same quality as the first one. I once thought it was of superior quality, but that feeling has changed since my second viewing of the film. It's definitely great and a worthy successor to the first film, but it does have its issues. I actually want to go further into what I enjoyed and what I think the film lacked in, but I'd have to go into spoilers for that, which is why I'm going to save that for a separate video. That way those of you who don't want to be spoiled won't be spoiled. You can expect that video to be out in a day or two, and Huh? Hello?
Hey Martin, it's Jem here. Thought I'd let you know that I already landed in Australia.
Ah, Jem. That's nice to hear. How's the flight?
It wasn't bad, except for the food they served us on the plane. They call that roast beef? I've seen better roasts on Twitter.
Yeah, it is what it is. Airline food is kinda crap. But the important thing is, you're safe, sound, and here.
Definitely. Anyway, any idea who's coming to get me?
That would be me. I'll pick you up once this review's over.
Wait, I called you in the middle of a video? Oh my god, I am so sorry.
Hey, relax. It's all gravy, my diamond-headed friend. Everything's gonna be fine.
Okay, see you in a few.
That you will, babe. Take it easy. Well, guess I've got plans for the rest of the day, and I guess you can look forward to a collaboration in the future. That ought to be fun. Actually, this whole month ought to be fun. Until then, I'm the one and only C.R. Martin, and I will see you all later. Ciao for now.